So you walk into a friend's brand new home and thought, oh, nice, new, shiny, clean. But something feels a little off. Everything's new, everything's clean, everything's shiny, but the room just doesn't feel right. Most of the time, the feeling comes down to one thing, really, that people don't really notice: the trim, the size, the shape, and how it fits the room. Hi, I'm Dane with Arkwright Construction, and today we're going to talk about something small that makes a huge difference in how a home feels. Baseboards, casings, crown molding. I want to walk you through what trim actually does in a home, why the size matters, why certain shapes feel right, and how long ago historic homes figured out how and why trim can feel right. We're going to keep it simple, but everything here does come from experts like Brent Hull, historian, and Marianne Cusada, her book, Get Your House Right, which is a book that I highly recommend anybody doing a decent remodel should have. Most homeowners never really think about trim, right? It's part of their remodel. They put in base, casing, and crown. But they do say things like, the room feels cheap, or it looks a little plain, feels a little plain, or our old house that we live in just feels better, right? Why is that? They're noticing proportions and the feel of the trim in the room without really noticing what it is. Your eyes expect openings and doorways and walls to be solidified, to have the right frame around them. And when trim is too small, too thin, or doesn't have the right profile, the whole room feels weak or unfinished, and even if everything else is expensive and new. Originally, trim had a job, right? Still does, but originally it was put in place to cover gaps, right? Where the wall met the floor, where the window and the doors hit the plaster casing, right? And where the wall met the ceiling, you had your crown molding, right? Over hundreds of years, architects started shaping trim in ways that looked good and made sense and felt right? Houses used patterns and proportions that became classics, right? Think colonial and craftsman and Victorian eras, right? These details were based on real rules that made rooms feel balanced and proportioned. Experts like Brent Hull talk about this all the time, and when you follow those rules, the house just feels right? And when you don't do it, it looks builder grade, which not a big fan of that term since I am a builder / remodeling contractor. But what they're saying is that it feels cheap. It feels like they put in whatever was inexpensive at the big box store, right? So here's the key thing anyone can understand. Small trim in a tall room or a large room looks wrong, and big trim in a small room looks heavy, out of place. Most modern production builders default to smaller, flat trim because it's faster and cheaper, but in most homes, especially nicer ones, it's undersized. And here's an easy cut sheet, something you can remember. If your ceilings are 8 to 9 feet, you're going to use 3.5 to 4 inch wide casing, and you're going to use 5 to 6 inch tall baseboards. And if your ceilings are around 10 feet, you're going to use 4.5 to 5 inch wide casing and 7 to 8 inch tall base. And if your ceilings are 11 or more, you're going to go bigger, 5+ inch wide casing and 8+ inch baseboards. And when the trim matches the scale of the room, it's going to feel solid and it's going to feel intentional. This is where profiles come in. Good trim has a clean, simple profile, simple curves or lines that cast real shadows when the light hits it. And from the book, Get Your House Right, which I showed you, and Brent Hull's work, there are some basic rules, right? Simple shapes look better and they look more expensive than busy wiggly ones. Deeper cuts and cleaner lines look richer because it casts shadows, clean shadows. Historic profiles usually look the best because they've been used for hundreds of years and they've been refined. You want to try to avoid, and any of these rules are made to be broken, by the way, but you want to try to avoid tiny, flat, stamped out looking trim that makes the house feel cheap. You want clean, deep, simple profiles. You don't have to memorize any of the names of profiles, right? Or model numbers or anything like that, but just remember clean, crisp, simple equals timeless. Trim is the frame of your home, and you wouldn't put cheap, skinny frame on an expensive painting, right? You would go to a professional framer and you would pick out a frame that matches that painting. So don't put tiny trim or improper trim around a beautiful room. When trim size is not right, the room just doesn't feel right. When it's sized right and it's shaped right, it feels correct. The house feels more expensive, feels more intentional, and your investment in your remodel will actually show. So if you want to get this right, look at the resources that I discussed. If you want to do some more research in the books like Get Your House Right and Brent Hull's Build a Timeless House in an Instant Era, where they break down the rules in ways that anyone can understand. Take a look at those books. And if you're interested in any more helpful videos, take a look at the rest of our videos. And I'm Dane Stevenson with Arkwright Construction. Thanks for listening.